Welcome back all. Mr. Fix-It coming at you. Look, I did a video on Bondo the other day on filling holes with Bondo and gaps and voids. Today I'm going to go over another way to fill holes and voids. So stay tuned at the end of this video. I'm going to take you out front and I'll show you where I patched those voids in the casing on the front door and show you how it turned out after I was all done with the Bondo and sanding and painting. Okay, so stay tuned for that. But on this door, okay, we're going to do it a little bit different way with the patching method. Okay, so what we do is I got this reason I got to patch his doors because we had a bathroom door in there that got destroyed. So to replace that door, they brought me, a door to recycle. We do recycle a lot. It does help, with the environment and all. You have less trash, and plus it saves our natural resources. Anyway, enough with that. So what I got here is I had these hinges in the door when I got it, when they delivered it. I'm recycling the door. This is a used door. It had these hinges that were already in the door. I took the hinges off. Well, I put the door into the new opening, or into the bathroom opening that I need this door at. And the hinges, there was naturally hinges on the old door. So those hinges don't match up with any of these voids on here that were cut out for the hinges. Okay, so what happened? What do I do now? Well, I don't want these big gaps in there, plus just throw the hinges in. So I had to fix these voids, and I try to make it look as original and back to new. So what I do is, instead of using the Bondo this time, I use the patch method on a job like this. The patch method is you take, a piece of wood, okay, off a 2x4 or whatever, you cut it out almost the same as the void that's in here. Okay, now I got lucky with this because a couple days ago, the gate wasn't shutting outside, so I needed to cut a 1/4 inch off of it to have it shut. So I cut that 1/4 inch off, and lots of times I'll save my scraps just for something like this. So it just happened to be that I cut that 1/4 inch off in depth, okay? The 1/4 inch is exactly what I needed for these voids, okay? And they're 3.5 inches high, and the width here, okay, was perfect because this door is like the same width as a 2x4. So that worked out perfect. I can't believe it. So what I did was it was a long strip that I cut off the gate because the gate's like 4 feet tall. And I took that scrap, and I cut my 3.5 inch pieces off of it. Now what I do is I usually cut a couple over what I need. In this case, I cut 5, and I cut them a 1/16 and 1/8 bigger and one a 1/16 shorter. Okay, because every one of these openings, these voids were not perfect. And I want these patches to fit perfect in place in this void, so I don't have a lot of filler to put in there. Okay, so I cut my 5. I picked out the 3 that matched the best. And also be aware that one of these voids looked like a beaver chewed it out. Okay, so you want that void as nice and straight and square as you can. So I took my wood chisel and I cut it out. Okay, and I put my patch in. Okay, and the patch had to fit almost perfect. So I cut out with the chisel, got it nice and square, nice and flat, and so the patch fit in nice and straight. And then I took my glue here, and you put your glue in. This is Liquid Nails interior. That's fine. You don't need exterior. This is an interior door. So make sure if you're doing something exterior that it's rated exterior, because interior won't last long. So anyway, I took my caulk gun with my liquid nails, you squirt some on there, and then you make sure you take your knife, okay? And just take that and evenly distribute your glue inside this void so that when you put your patch on, you're gonna have equal strength throughout the whole thing. So when you stick that in there, now you can push this in with the liquid nails and it'll probably stay there and then just let it dry. I prefer to use my nail gun. If you have a nail gun, I recommend taking your trim nail gun and putting 3 to 4 nails in each piece, just so to make sure it stays in place. Then after that's done, okay, you're going to be close, but there's still going to be some small gaps in it. So you're going to take this is Drydex I use for small holes and cracks. I use this. You don't want to use this for real big holes because this stuff, it takes a long time to dry in that case and sometimes it falls out. But on small jobs, this is great. So I took my Drydex, I take my knife, Drydex, right? Take your Drydex, and you just smooth out your filler all over and cover in all the cracks. Once all your cracks are covered in, and make sure you don't leave more material than you need. Just put enough, because when you sand this off, you don't want to be sanding like for a week straight. You want to just put enough that it covers your cracks and all, and then when you sand it, maybe you could sand it by hand with just a piece of paper if you distribute the stuff evenly enough and don't leave so much excess. I have an orbital sander I use that, and then I take fine sandpaper and I go over it with the fine sandpaper to get it as close as I can to original status. So this right here is, once I paint it, I'll paint it primer and then paint it with the door paint, and then it'll be in original condition, like new condition. Okay, so I can take this door and I can put it up to the opening I need it in. I can line up the hinges and I can cut my voids where I need them, and you won't see any other voids cut out on the door. So it'll look like I took a brand new door and cut out the voids for the hinges and just used it that way. So I recommend this. If you can, try to recycle. It does help out a lot with the environment and all, and it can help out with your pocket too. So everybody knows we need to save as much as we can these days. So this will help you out. This is another way to patch. I want to take you over and show you, because I did finish those other patches I did the other day in the video, the voids I filled with the Bondo. I want to show you that. So I'm going to take you there now and show you how they turned out. All right, so hang on. So we got 2 ways to fill voids. You can use the Bondo, and if you're not comfortable with that, you can use this patch method. But these are the holes that I filled, okay? You can see right here. You can hardly see where I filled it. These were hinge gaps from the screen door, if you remember. Okay, so they were about 3/8 deep and 3 inches high. So I filled that just with the Bondo, and as you can see, it turned out almost the same as using the patch method. Okay, but like I said, it's a little bit more messy and stressful, so, and also cheaper, because the Bondo isn't cheap to buy. But this turned out, almost perfect to original condition. Here's the bottom one. Okay, so I just put the Bondo on there, and then I sanded it down, and I always primer these spots and paint them. Okay, so you want to use your primer on there, because sometimes on those virgin areas where it's never had paint, it will peel, unless you're using like the paint that has the primer in it. Then you can use it just plain without the primer. But on these jobs, I like to put the primer on first and then paint it. It's a little bit more work, but it lasts longer. So, 2 ways to patch. Bondo patch method. Okay, whatever you like. This probably is a little bit cheaper, but a little bit more work and a little less stressful. Just take your time. Like I said, cut the void out so it's nice and even with your patch. Make sure your patch, before you glue it, fits nice and even inside that void. That is the key to doing the patch method. Make sure that patch fits real nice in there and then glue it in. Okay, nail it if you like, and then take your patch, go over all the little cracks that are in it, sand it, paint it, and you're done. Okay? I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it's helpful for you. There's 2 ways to patch. Okay? If you got comments, or if you like me to do a video on something, leave it in the comments. I'd be happy to oblige you. And this is Mr. Fix-It coming at you. Please share the video, like and subscribe. I'm glad you came. Have a great one. I'm out.